Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Truth Shocker here with Rocco Fowler on another beautiful episode 3 on what's going on with the foster care systems, etc., and in life, pretty much, exploring again, was it really space or was it MK Ultra? What kind, is it our memory? What's going on, right? So before we start, I just wanted to let everyone know that this is a tough thing for me as well, because when I was a police officer, we always had to go to this group home on South Sixth there. And on one of the incidents, you know, they would call us because the kids would be fighting and things like that. But there was one incident where a boy hung himself. And that was so hard for me because I'm like, this kid, like I've talked to him before. And what about his family? Like he doesn't, what's going to happen? It's, you grow attached to the kids. You're there to help them, and then the next thing you know, that happens, right? And another thing that I have a hard time with is, I was telling Rocco, is that when I was going from one precinct to another, so when I was going from the county to South Tucson, city of South Tucson, I had to take on a job, and it was involved with a subsidiary of CPS, because CPS, it was called CPS, Child Protective Services. And they gave me a blue, nice, blue Chevy Impala where I would transport the kids. And some of the time it was really tough, because there was one incident where I was in the middle of nowhere. I took a baby from a couple, a baby, and the man was crying outside, and they had told me that he was in drugs. The couple was doing drugs and that they couldn't keep the kid. And it was a baby. It was like 4 month, 3 month, 4 month old baby. And I had a flat tire, so I was over here, putting out, I was gonna changing the tire, and then this guy rolls up in middle of nowhere. It was like 2 hours before I could get this baby to the right family, to CPS, actually, the building itself, because it was just, they just, like that, they just told me, you got to go get this kid like right now. And so I'm like, this baby has to get his diaper changed, and the law is that you can't change a baby's diaper, so we had to get permission, special permission, to change the baby's diaper. So it's just, and it happened again when I was a police officer in South Tucson. They would say, okay, you got to go get this kid, or they're going to drop him off, and you got to wait for CPS to take him to a home. Same thing. There was a baby involved with another little kid, and the brother, I had to get special permission to change the diaper there at the precinct. So it's tough all around, Rocco. But yeah, my goes
Absolutely.
out to you too. So thanks for being here again.
Anytime, anytime. And I look forward to future episodes. So if there's anybody out there that has had what I call a grounded experience, meaning and a traumatizing, anything to do with private schools, abuse, over medicating, class trips to government facilities, we want to aware people that this stuff is still going on. It's still going on. And unfortunately, I have just found out about how the foster care system is running out of funds. I don't know how, but that's kind of scary, because what happens if all those foster kids don't have a home? I was always the type of foster kid where I would, think the first thing is to fight or flight, because I knew I had a home. I knew I had family, but I knew the system was doing this to mess with my mind psychologically, and, the SRIs, they didn't help, being forced on medications, waking up in the morning and, a lot of us that have dealt with that type of stuff, given a lot of medications, sicknesses, we all deal with, pure hell, like what Chad just said. Shout out to Chad. I look forward to doing an interview with you and talking about this. And I like the fact that you want to fight for the cause.
That
And you
is
know what?
awesome. He's
That's
gonna
what
help
we
you.
need to do in general. All of us need to do that. Um, we need to put these people that are putting out false narratives, that are using young women that are just coming in the program, that know nothing, that are looking for answers. And what are you sending them? You're sending them pornography pictures of yourself. Or, oh, well, let's talk. And then you get on the phone and you get all flirty dirty with them. No, we don't do the flirty dirty here. No, this is a place for traumatized victims, traumatized survivors. Because if you come and you tell your story and you let it out, you feel even more better about yourself. And you got to release that pain. You got to release that suffering somehow. And, this is a platform where you don't have to be a part of the secret space program. You don't have to be a super soldier. You don't have to be none of that. It could just be abuse from however,
It's all about ego, Rocco. Like, oh, I have to have the name super soldier. So what I've noticed is with some of these people that are in the government, like for real, like they're like maybe senator, governor, family members or whatever, I'll invite them to come on and they're like, well, I don't want to be associated with blah, 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 but they will use the name super soldier for everything. And I'm like, okay, a lot of people have that hard time disconnecting because it is about ego, because they do put you on a pedestal on these, okay, I'm not going to get into it. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. If you want to get into it, get into it. That's what Truth Shockers is about. Because you know what? We're here to shock you with the real truth. The valid truth is what we're here to shock you with. And, I hear people on other interviews talking about, oh, implanted memories. That was all a false, whatever. No, it isn't. It's the truth, you dummies. What are electromagnetic weapons, huh? Let's go there. You don't think they can't beam you in your house with a bunch of false information that you went on a ship last night and you got married to this girl and you ended up living on this planet with her for 65 and back, but you've only been asleep for what, 24 hours? I mean, come on. Wake up. Wake up. What's the trauma behind all the crap that's being put out? What's the trauma? Because I'll tell you my trauma, having med shoved down my throat in foster care system because of my father, being murdered in front of me and not having family that really wanted me because I was at the time considered a troubled kid. Not to mention having to deal with the fact that my dad's mother thinks that I'm the blame for the death of my father. So I had to live with that. I mean, this platform doesn't only have to be about space and all that stuff. It can be about the private schools, because I know it happens all over the place. I mean, just look up the Hammer. I mean, the Hammer podcast, because you know what? He's gonna hammer the truth out no matter what. And check me out on this Thursday, 6 p.m. CST time. I will be on with that one and only the Hammer podcast, and I will be getting into the full details of what I call, like he said earlier when he was promoting. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Because the truth needs to be promoted, not the lie. And the lie, too much lie is getting promoted.
Right.
It's
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and put like the link on here after we upload the video so they can go see you there. And I know that a lot more people will be interviewing you because, you deserve to be heard. This is the truth that's happened to you and
eh,
it's still happening to the
it's
kids.
believable stuff. Yeah,
You
it's
gotta put an
believable
end to it,
stuff.
gotta put an end to it.
It,
And then,
it's it's not I went to space last night, and people are like, okay, I've heard this from 70, 80 other people.
Mhm.
You know, no, let's put some true spice into this, is what I'd like to call it, like the real spicy part that you can't handle. You
I want
know,
to
like
know.
I talk about with the rape thing, you know,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
got to come out and let it be known, because a lot of people in the program has went through that.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily on a spaceship or in an underground base.
Right.
It could be in your classroom, bathroom, with a teacher. It could be in the principal's office. I know these things because I lived these things. I saw these things.
Mhm.
That's why I'm here talking out about it now. I'm more of a target than these SSP fools. Half my house apartment complex today lit on fire. I mean, come on.
You didn't tell me what
You
happened.
can't make this up. You can't make this
Oh
up.
shit. That's
All of a
crazy.
sudden, bang, 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 fire. How the hell?
That's crazy.
I mean, doesn't that tell you something right there? That gives you an indication, like, yeah, you need to shut. No, I'm not going to,
No, I'm not
because I
gonna go
know I'm gonna be
them
protected.
either. Yeah. That's one thing that I wanted to say real quick that we did talk about earlier, you and I had a confirmation. I had a dream, and yes, dreams, me. I write down my dreams. These things,
Dream log.
yes. So what ended up happening 3 months ago, and I've told people about, I think I said it in one show. I don't remember the name of the show that I did, but it was an older man, coming in uniform. There was a swimming pool around, there was other officers there, and I had a suitcase, and I was there with the family member, two family members of mine, and he came up to me. He had a navy blue suit. I couldn't see what was the insignia there. Glasses. He came to me and he gave me. He was giving me something, and then he said, "We will be with you when the scorpion marries the spider." But he didn't say spider. Later on, I got it from another person. It's like, well, okay, what did he mean? What did he mean by when the scorpion marries the? And then it was blank. And then later on, someone said, "Oh, spider," and I'm like, "Oh, well, now that makes sense," because I think with all of our, and this is only like for us that know what's going on. You represent the scorpion, I represent the spider, right? We'll just say it that way. um
Yeah.
I've had many we'll say experiences, memories with spider AI that are like this big, that are
Mm-hmm.
used as BOMBs, unfortunately. And I've talked to them telepathically. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but they're like, we don't want to do
No.
this, but this is what we're made to do. And so this is during a time where I had to put it on an offense, and there was these alphabet soup, people there, and I said, you got to get down from the fence, or else it's going to explode. I have many incidents like that, and I'm like, okay, well, I wear my spider gear to work out. The spidey senses, the Kevlar, right? The Kevlar also has diamond spider. Um, what did
Okay.
it say? Right. So I feel that because you and I, Jesse, and more will come. They're detaching
Oh
themselves.
no, Rocco.
Right.
Rocco.
Yeah,
You get
Rocco.
me
Sorry.
mixed up with Jesse.
Oh gosh. Well, I meant to say Rocco and I and Jesse, have detached already from these SSP crap.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and so
100%.
right. And so with the Homeland Security guy coming the other day physically to hand me his badge, he was in a green uniform,
Yeah, I
white
know.
hair, older man. Okay, to say he was gonna give somebody a job and interviewing somebody that lives around here. I'm not gonna say where. Um, that dawned on me this in the morning when I texted you.
Right. Well, yeah, and I wrote, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Uh,
because earlier I was like, wait, what happened? I was asleep. I think I went to bed about a little over 1 this morning. Uh 0
wow.
hours,
Yeah.
0100. Yeah. And then I fell asleep finally. And then when I wake up, right as I open my eyes, I see someone like that got like something like gray. and the doorknob slid something in the doorknob, and I heard it close. And I'm like, my dog didn't bark, my cats didn't hiss, and I was in sweat. Like, what happened? And right
Yeah,
before I went
yeah,
to sleep,
PTSD.
right before I went to sleep, Rocco, I heard two, I don't know if I told you, but I heard two different tones coming from my fan, and then I heard it in my ear twice, in
Mm.
my right ear. Usually they do it on my left, but I'm like, okay, what did they do?
Frequencies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they tend to do that stuff too. And they do have the technology to freeze,
Of course,
erase your memory, to freeze
absolutely.
everyone around you. And
I mean, they do, but they don't use it just on everybody.
yeah,
And there's way too many people that think that it's really happening to them, but really it's just a bought on television show brought to you by whoever, SSP. Brought to you by SSP. Get your super soldier secret space cakes, I mean, sometimes you got to laugh about it because these people are really have memories behind those memories that are preventing them from moving forward, especially a lot of the females, because a lot of the females were either molested when they were kids, or they were roofied, or they were, something happened to them traumatizing. And, they automatically assume when a boyfriend's stalking them, oh, that's, a handler, that's this, that's that. So they create this story in their head, right? Which I'm guilty of doing it and falling into the trap, so to speak, with other people and just saying, oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah, I remember that too, just to try to feel like I need to fit in. But the reality is the God of my understanding, it's almost like to me, this whole situation brought Jesse, brought you, brought all these other good people, and are going to bring more good people. And these shows are going to get better, and people are going to want to watch them because there's going to be truth. There's going to be truth. So anybody out there for real that is looking to want to talk about their story, we will definitely be starting a Truth Shocker show. We just got to get dates and times when we're going to do it. That way I can always keep it in my calendar. Um, I'm actually getting a microphone. So
that's awesome. Yeah, so today we'll call it episode 1 of Truth Shocker with Rocco Fowler. And so did you want to talk about the what's going on in Kansas yet, or
well,
about the
um,
labor laws
no,
and
no, not that too much. What I really have noticed is the what are we doing? I mean, it's all over the world. It seems that are all over the country. Um, Foster care systems are losing so much money. How is that? That's what I'd like to know. How is that? And now these expensive private schools are actually allowing just any, like, basically up to a certain age. You don't have to be a certain type of kid, or it used to be like rich kids that would go to these places, but now the state pays for kids to go there, and there's still abuse being talked about in these
that's what they're doing
places.
now. I think that's their next level of play, is to get these kids into the science schools, especially when they're
Not
young.
only that, but the private schools themselves
Yeah.
and the staff that work there that, oh, I get a certificate, so now I get to abuse you. Um, you know, uh, I heard one kid talk about that school summit in Nyack and talking about he wrote something down where the guy said to him he'd love to, do something to his head and then do something down his throat. It's disgusting what the staff said to him. I mean, That's abuse. That's beyond abuse. That's pure evilness, and you belong in a padded room. You belong meted up, not us kids. We don't belong on all these those, these psychotropic medications. We don't all belong on them. And it seems that that's what they use, especially in the foster care system. Oh, he's depressed, so we'll put him on, this Prozac, or we'll put him on Depakote mixed with that, and then we'll mix this, and then we'll mix that, and next thing you know, you become a zombie. You don't want to do anything with your life, but you don't have to worry about that. If you come to this show and start talking, you'll be able to get that out. Anything you want. I think we should leave it as truth shockers, meaning anything that you feel is your truth, speak it. But don't bring bull crap, because, I mean, you gotta be careful. It's a very muddy waters in this whole community is muddy waters for real. And you gotta be careful who you trust. That goes for the ladies out there that are just coming into the, these programs and talking to all these super soldier hero guys, and they're telling you they can heal you, and they want to be with you, and they want relationships with you, and they want to buy houses for you, or whatever it is. Don't buy into it. Don't.
I can give you an example real quick. When I went to speak at the March Conference 2021, I met a guy, and first name Eric, and he was wanting to be with me, and then he said, you're a psychic medium. I've talked to Misha so many times about this school that we have to make, because the kids, they're coming from the dumps, they're saving them. So these kids, we have to find a place for them to be educated, for them to be how do you say, brought back from outer space or from the dumps to where.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I needed just one more year for my teaching certificate for me to get my teaching, both in bilingual education, music, and Spanish. I took linguistics, all that. So he's like, oh well, let's talk with Misha. And Misha never wanted to talk to all three of us. I did talk to her, and she said, well, I just don't have time right now. Go ahead and talk to him. So, I said, he says, I need you to do a curriculum, and then I'll be going to Tucson.
Oh God.
Right? So we can go look at places. So we can get like 2-story houses. You'll be in charge of one in Arizona. I'll be in charge of the one in California. My daughter will be in charge of the one in Texas. And what did he want? He just wanted sex. Then he took me, unfortunately, I fell for it again. And that's why I went celibate. I'm like, no more bullshit. Excuse my language. So then we went to Chase Bank, and he's like, yeah, you got to start buying these gold bonds, from Iraq, and because they're going to mature, the whole Trump bull crap. You know what I'm saying? And I fell for that too. I'm like, really? I need to buy Zim dollars? And then I'm like, no, Chase doesn't have them. And he's like, well, I got to go back to California. You can go with me, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll open up an account over there.
Trump, you were on the Epstein log.
Exactly, he was.
Many, many times. Okay, I'm going to publicly display that right now, because it's already been publicly displayed on every media, it seems.
Yes.
You're in all these pictures with Epstein. All these people think, oh, he's our savior. He's our savior. Not my, you know what, my savior. That man is no good. He's done a lot of dirty things to people. And you know what? I hope that everything that they're talking about right now about him getting charged and everything, I hope that's real. I hope that's real.
I said it in one of my quick lives, where this person that I don't want to talk about anymore, that I recently, talked about.
Right. Yeah. The last one.
Yeah, the last one, WAR. He had said that Ivanka is a reincarnation of the Romanov daughter, and that's why Trump is, secretly taking care of her. Because you got to listen to
There
the
you go.
government.
Okay. Q anonymous
What
shit,
the
right?
hell?
Do
Yeah.
I smell Q? When's the next Q, whatever drop you call yourself? You're a bunch of keyboard warriors. That's all you are. Living in mommy and daddy's basement.
Or ex-military, and they have a criminal record, and
Well,
they're
no,
trying to
I
be
don't even think they're that
that's
smart enough
GAnon.
because I don't even think they're that smart enough. Joe M, who always hid behind the screen, would never get on a camera with me. Yeah, I'm calling you out. And you threatened my family too, Mr. Q. Oh, yeah. You were basically calling yourself Q. There's no Q. And then that other jerk off that gets on camera and says, oh, he's all Q. He knows Trump gonna win. Trump win. Trump win. Whatever his name is, Ron something from your area, I guess. I don't know. I don't believe a word he says either. I'm just done with it all. I'm done. Done.
Yeah, I don't do
It's
the whole.
time we take back
Yes,
what is ours.
exactly.
And do it in a way where we're going to be able to do it, get it over with, and like reset it, almost like before anybody knows anything. If we could do it that way, because we don't want all that havoc in the streets. We don't want all of that. We want to try to prevent that. We can't prevent all of it. I mean, yeah, we can prevent a decent amount of it. Like, that's why I say we need to start these activism groups of, like for instance, one guy he did a thing about Summit, and that was huge. Shut down Summit. He had hats made, and he'd be talking to the counselors on the video camera. It was funny, and telling them, "You don't remember me, dude? You restrain? No, man, I don't remember you." And he's getting them all on video lying. So it's like, but then guess what happens? Everything falls apart at the end for this poor man. The news gets a story, gets stories from others, whatever staff, teachers, blah, 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 right? That are real credible. And next thing you know, we can't air it. That's what they said to him. We can't air it. But, this is the types of things we need to think about, people, right? Okay. So, like, piggyback off of this guy's story, right? Think about this. Think about being a kid, right? Running around telling every staff member in a private school that this kid is going to kill me. This kid is going to kill me. This kid is going to kill me. And he meant it. And he ended up getting thrown out the window that night. And the school knew about it. And what happens? The kid ends up in jail that threw the kid out the window. And yeah, he did wrong. He should be charged whatever in a certain way, but really, technically, the school should be held accountable for things like that, not the student, because you allowed it.
Same thing with what happens with these, when they do hazing, in colleges and universities, where they'll put somebody in between
Yeah.
the mattresses and throw them out the window, and like,
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
why is that still allowed? Because I'm a proud
Uh,
Yale person and F Princeton, but go to Harvard or Yale because we're the good guys, and then they're over here like, unfortunately, same thing, raping boys, women, the men that are teachers going out with the young girls that are like their freshman year in the university. It's ridiculous. And they let this crap happen. Why?
it seems like well, I think they get like kicks out of this stuff, I really do. Like, I've heard people sometimes in testimonies speak about, and they're the abuser, and hearing them speak, like it doesn't even bother them. And I always say, once an abuser, always an abuser.
That's right. And then going back to, you know, what they call CPS. Wow, they kicked us out, Rocco, and Cox has been here
That just goes to
twice.
show I tell the truth. Obviously. What does that tell you, people? What does that tell you? They don't want me speaking about that. Because the more awareness that comes out about this stuff, the more people are going to get justice. And that's what needs to be done. And, you know, that's why Truth Shocker is a show that it will be good because you get to tell your truth. And we don't care if we get booted off. We'll always get back on somehow.
We will, you know, and then people have to, the ones that don't know, they should realize that CPS, you know, Child Protective Services, I know they changed the name, is also affiliated with doctors,
Yep.
school
Yep.
nurses,
And the
St.
thing
Jude
yeah. Yep.
Hospital.
Yep. Yep. And the thing is with the meds, right? It's like
Yes.
they don't tell you what you're gonna be on, right? So when I first went to so here's a not even a real story. That I know happened because my mom even said today, how did you remember that? Like, you know, you remember telling me that when you were a kid? And I was like, no, I don't remember, you know, because half the time I was either drinking or doing something, you know, to try to stay away from the trauma so I wouldn't freak out and put holes in walls and, you know, or put a cat in a washer machine or do something like that, you know, people with, you know, trauma deal with. So I get to the St. Louis location, right, that I'm going to be speaking about on Thursday. And just a sneak peek is, so I'm sitting there, right, after the two CPS or DFS workers, at that time it was called DFS, um, you know, dropped me off, my bags, you know, whatever I had. I had barely anything, maybe not even about 3 days worth of clothes, really nothing. And what they gave me was garbage, stuff that fell apart. And
Factory to
so I'm
you
inside.
clothing. Remember,
Yeah,
did you guys have a factory to you over there?
yes, we did. And I'll get into that a little
Yes,
bit.
thank you.
Yeah. So, anyways, I end up going into the office and they're asking me all these questions and they're writing down on this pad, right? And I'm saying, I look over and I noticed that it had something to do with medications. So I asked this lady, I said, what medications am I on? Because to my knowledge, I was not on any other medications prior to being here, and I'm not even here 24 hours. So how are you diagnosing me? Or, you know, I knew to say these things weirdly, right? Like I was always, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'd take a lot of the the abuse for others at times. So she got nasty with me and said, "None of your business. Shut up, and sit down." What the hell? So, you know, later on, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm not taking these meds. So I actually literally threw the couple meds. One time I spit the meds. I said, I'm not taking this crap. So the one staff member comes up behind me, grabs me, throws me on the ground, takes his knee, right? And he was a decent weight, you know. I'm what, 14 at the time, you know, still not even 15, you know, and I'm skinny. And, I got this guy's knee in my back, and he's pulling my head up like this and shoving medication down my throat because I didn't want to take it. Um, so the type of abuse that is going on rampantly is the reason why we have the reason why they get away with so much is we have these secret space distractions. We have all these distractions, and oh, let's focus on talking about what war we fought on Mars instead of how can we help these kids get out of an abusive environment and shut these places down. And then maybe other things will fall into play. But other than that, just speaking about space and, you talk about having trauma, and
Even
I don't
some,
see any trauma in that. I
yeah, even
don't.
some kids that are, I know personally, which I'm not going to say who it is, but there are some kids that are already 18 years old, 19, and they
Yeah.
still get abused physically by their mother or their father. And,
Yeah.
and they have to pretend that everything's okay in college.
Uh-huh. Yep.
In college. And I'm talking
I
about
believe
a
it. I
Mexican
believe it.
tradition. It doesn't matter if it's the Mexican culture or what, but I've seen it a lot in the Mexican culture. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I've had to get involved with one family member, not my family,
Oh man.
but uh, a friend of the families will say, and I confronted the mother and she stopped talking to me, but I finally had to tell her, you don't do that to your kid. My goodness. Even people at
No.
church, when I was going to church, the Christian church, there was a couple there. I was getting my hair cut by this girl, and we would frequently visit her. I was married and my kids, they would play with them. But one time she beat up her kids so bad, and I'm like, I ain't coming back. And I said, you need to stop that. You need to stop that because they're gonna take your kids away. And it's like they think it's normal.
No.
People coming
No.
from Mexico, they
No.
think it's normal for
No.
everybody to be hitting each other. It's like enough is enough. Like that has to stop.
No. It's not. It's not normal. It's taken way too far. Is and I mean, I was in foster care, what, in the 2000s or so. I'm 35 now. Yeah, around the 2000 era. So, I got like the brunt end of a lot of stuff that, is still, from what I'm hearing, if not more stuff is happening now. And, not happy to hear that. I'm not. I don't want these kids to go through worse or anything close to what I went through. I mean, like that wheelbarrow thing, just thinking about it, I feel the scratchiness in my body. It's like, oh man, it's like, just, you know, I, I'm losing, sleep at times. You know what I mean? It's like my sleep pattern's different. Um, I wake up at a very late hour and then go to bed again early. Today, normally I'd be asleep by now. This is crazy, but that's good. I'm trying to break it.
It's hard to break it because I'll have times where I'm okay, like maybe for 2 weeks, going to sleep around 10:30, 1 in the morning, but then boom, I start thinking of things, or maybe I do a show where I get more of my memories or just remember things that I hadn't remembered in a long time. And it's like, then I'm like, can't sleep. I have to go walk Lola in the middle of the night, at all hours because it's not easy. And I've been like this for a long time. And when I was 3 years old, I would wake up. My mom says I would wake up and watch
Yeah,
TV at 5 in the
yeah,
morning. I was the first one up, and
yep.
I've always been
I was
hyper.
an early riser too,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But
Um,
but to me, because ever since this traumas have been happening, since I was a child, of course, because at home too. And then later on in life, when I was married, shit just kept happening. So it's like, it's really hard sometimes to sleep. And
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I gotta like, you know, I'll just say cannabis. Um, you know, it's something sometimes I have to literally like, I mean, it's wild. Sometimes I have to smoke a decent amount, and I mean a decent amount to remotely even put me halfway to sleep, you know, or I'll smoke so much that I'll have ended up falling asleep in my chair because then I wake up and my back hurts, and I'm like, why didn't I go lay down? Like, but it's like, what else am I gonna do? You know, I listen to a lot of music, a lot of music. Music helps.
to me, I'm gonna get cleared pretty soon to go back to the gym. I think 2 more weeks and I'm going back to the gym. That helps a lot. I usually, sorry, the toy. La la. I work out 3 hours a day, 4 times a week. And I can't wait to go back because that keeps me sane. The music, just me being focused. Like when I'm at the gym, don't talk to me because I'm busy. You're like, I love
Right.
that TikTok thing that you did.
Yeah. I definitely like it. That's for sure.
I gotta get one.
But it's like therapeutic. It's therapeutic. Um, it helps. With me, I have had to battle, like entities and stuff and spiritual stuff. I try to stay away from occultic stuff as much as possible because I know the dangers of it. Um, Unfortunately, due to what Max Spears, I mean, it's he got involved in a little bit of that, and it wasn't his fault. I believe. Um, I think it was just manipulation on all angles. It's unfortunate, but
They
we're
always
all
want to
still
know.
alive.
I know. They always want to know what we know. They always want to know, because we have these gifts, you included and Jesse and a lot of people that have been on my show. They have these psychic abilities and it's like they just want to know. And with Max, he was gonna write a book and the wrong people just got to him. And that's why it's like really hard to trust anybody. That's why it's like I keep a very small circle. I don't need no thousand, 100,000, followers, subscribe. You never
No,
know who they are. It could be paid
no,
informants.
it's concerning that I'm getting all these interviews out of nowhere, um, about being abused and foster care because it's like Jesse was saying, a congruent story getting more attention than the space story. People are looking for truths. They're looking for real stuff to listen to. You know, where they see activism rather than division and this one's battling this one and you weren't a part of this and I don't want to be a part of it. Okay, that's fine. Like I said, I have to go pick up a space heater and I'll call it Dark Fleet. I'll buy a nice black space heater, and then like I said, space cakes. Yeah.
Space rice cakes from Mars. Rice cakes from Mars. Oh man. A lot of people make a lot of money out of this, and it's weird because when I was
Yeah, they're idiots.
and they want me to write
And
a
they're
book, and I'm
pedos.
like, I don't know if I want to write a book about my life. I'd rather talk about it because as soon as somebody writes a book, then you don't see them, they disappear. It's like, okay, so you're
No,
rich
you don't.
on
Yep, yep,
space.
yep.
Might as well
100% correct.
might as well read the book Pacific Rim, baby. Or, check out some books. I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff to my thing, some of them I still think they are real, but that's just for me. I'm not gonna put it on somebody else and say, oh, I remember
No.
you from this and I remember you from that. Yes, I do have dreams of certain people and I've written them down and I made shows about them, but that's me though. I don't want to like make a hive mind for people like they're doing nowadays with all the lies and the sex kitten shit stuff. It's like there's too many lies.
And screamed at me.
Who?
You went on Veronica's show and blasted me, talk crap about me.
I
I
told
said,
you,
well,
you gotta block the people that don't
oh
want
no,
good.
no, I blocked her on the phone and on the Facebook.
These people, you know what happened, with like for example with Kimberly Murphy, which I don't want to talk about this anymore, but what happens is they work like third agents, okay? They'll go, then, oh, I'm so popular now. I'm gonna go to the conference and speak, and then they love me, and then rumors start. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this other person said this about, then you go to that side thinking, then they're like, oh, well, you were right about this. For like Kimberly says, you were right about Joseph. And I'm like, okay, and now what? This is the second time that you switch your mind. I'm not going to talk to you anymore because they want to rope you with the third time. The third, how do you say, first agent, second agent?
And now she's back talking to them.
Exactly. So when you don't cut ties with these mother effers that don't want anything good.
Oh, I cut ties. I'm just looking at a chat log. Jesse looks at it for me and tells me what's up. And
we gotta end
hey,
the
I like
freaking
it.
circus. We gotta end this
I
circus
love it.
by
I
not
love
even
it. Long Island.
one of these days we're just gonna not talk about it no more. We're gonna be like ignoring them, ignoring everything because we
Oh
know
no, I don't think tonight we really gave them any attention. We just a little bit. They
just
get
a
a
little
little bit. You get a little bit of attention.
just a
That's it.
little
Especially on True Shocker.
bit.
Only a little bit of attention. Because
So we gotta
I
cut
actually
ties.
I have I think a background that says Truth Shocker on it. Because I have a page called Truth Shocker. Or no, is it Truth Shocker? Yeah, Truth Shocker. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and we gotta find a way to help this. Sorry, one moment. We gotta find a way to help the children, like the kids nowadays. And how are they gonna talk to these people that are always just talking, the psychologists, we gotta get them away. We gotta do some kind of program, or I don't know.
What
Do
I
we
plan
do?
on doing is I want to set up a conference with this type of stuff.
That's a good idea.
But that's why I said Truth Shocker. Okay, I understand, people say, oh, making money and whatnot. Sometimes if you just say like $10, $5 donation, leave it at that. You know what I mean? Don't go crazy. And the more subscribers you get, so say you get subscribers, right? And you're making legal money in a sense of you're telling the truth, right? At the same time, you're trying to dodge bullets. Because what if I get on this show and I say something and something comes at me, right? Now I got to duck and dodge, that bullet. Or I have to, stand up and tell my testimony in a courtroom. Who knows? This show could reach, this gentleman has a decent amount of followers, subscribers, and a pretty good rated show from what I see, and pretty decent people, and it was very nice of the one gentleman. It was nice of him to even put my picture up with his and say what I called the school and everything. I like that. I thought that was cool. You know, because that's what I call it. Well, it's not really a school, see, it is, but it was like split. It was like my upper half had a school, and then the girl side had a school. So the worst kids, right? The kids that acted up and didn't care were the ones that went. My room was right above it in the coldest part of the house.
And I don't like that they didn't even give you warm blankets or
No,
warm clothes, or what about
no.
shoes and socks? What did they do? Just give you enough to survive for the week? And did you have to wash your own clothes? How old were you? 15, right? When this 13,
14,
14.
14, 14 when I went into St. Louis. I ended up AWOLing from St. Louis. I left and I left with another girl who they were really abusing the hell out of her. They were hitting her up with like I believe it was Thorazine shots. And at one point she came to me and said, "Hey, you know, I see what they're doing to you." And you know, because I could see through the glass, because you know I became very nasty with the staff members. I became very nasty, like fuck you, I'm not doing what you tell me to do, and go ahead, throw me in the quiet room and leave me in there for 7 or 8 hours in the pitch dark. Yeah, child abuse. Or lock me in my room for 1 week and feed me. That's the basic.
I'm glad you finally got out.
Oh,
And what advice can you give to kids that maybe, could run into an interview like this, or the one that you're going to be on? Like, what kind of hope can we give them, Rocco? What can we tell them?
open your mouth, speak.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid. We're right here, truth shockers. We're right here. Open up. I've been through it. I lived it. I lived it to tell it. I wanted to commit suicide about 12 times, you know, after all of this, because I was so depressed and I was so, you know, like beaten down in a sense. It was like I felt that breath of freedom, but I also felt that I'm not going to live a normal life. Um, and, you know, I had, you know, issues with relationships. Um, I was very, like, what's the word when a guy is like very, like, you know, over the way he looks. Like I had this problem with that. Also, you know, waking up in the morning and just throwing up and not understanding why. And then I'd have to do a little bit of cannabis just to, you know, help with that. Um, I've been told I have GERD, um, which is basically all those SRIs that were shoved down my throat. Um, which the SRIs are the psychotropic medications that cause suicidal idea. You know, it causes the suicide to actually happen.
Yeah, they
Um,
had me on Adderall and Effexor XR when I was a cop.
well, Adderall would just speed me up. I wasn't that lucky.
Yeah.
At that point, I would have loved it. Probably, I would have got addicted to it.
Well,
I'm not
they gave it to me because they supposedly said that I had PTSD. While I know PTSD, chronic depression, anxiety, and then they said that DID, that I had
ADD.
ADHD, and then DID, which is dissociative identity disorder.
I have the same thing, I believe.
Yeah, and it's really hard for me even now. Like, I know I got the name the Hulk and the police academy, but it's really hard even now, just You know, that's I stay away from as many negative people as I can, because it's like I don't want to be lighting that fire, you know, and getting upset over stupid stuff that is not worth it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, they say, well, you're already older, Beto, why can't you, you know, stop being so angry? And it's like, you weren't abused like I was physically.
Look, right. See, they don't understand that. They don't get that. Because when, like, for instance, when I was being abused, I couldn't go to my counselor and say, hey, look, listen, this staff member's abusing me. Because they're going to go right to that staff member. They're going to tell that staff member, this is how it works in that system. Systematically, it seems to work like that in all of these places where this stuff is going on.
Well, guess what? It also works in the secret space program. You think you're going to someone to get healing? I don't let nobody touch my chakras. Those chakras are mine. I shut them down. I don't let nobody do healing, Reiki, no prayer sent to me, because no. That's a form of control. That's how they can get to you. So if somebody, I'm not trying to discredit the real Reiki masters, because we're all masters, baby. Okay. We could talk
I'm
to our
in
DNA,
Reiki courses right
right?
now.
We could,
I'm
we could
taking
talk to our
courses.
DNA. We could heal ourselves. I mean, you're gonna be a professional one, right? But even what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about the people that are professional or not, and take advantage. Just like the psychic mediums. I could, you know, I will not be like those psychic people that give readings and are lies. They'll lie to you. Somebody will pay a person to lie for that medium.
Correct.
To lie to them. I will not do that. I will not do that for fame, fortune, or greed. I used to have, my channel used to have over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
What happened? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I understand. That's interesting.
Sorry. So it's live. So what I'm trying to say here is that you got to be careful who you go to. Okay.
Yeah. Be careful who you go to. Don't start believing everything you're told.
Right.
Don't believe that you have alters when you're told you have alters and they remember you from this planet and that planet and that planet. Because 9 times out of 10, they're just writing a narrative and they're going to use your story and then they're going to spit you out and they're going to use anything against you, your past, your childhood. And it's disgusting that they do that.
And before they spit you out, they're going to tell you, you got to go to these conferences because we need you, but you got to pay $1,500. And then you got to pay for
won't be at one. And
then your food. I had to take protein shakes and protein bars because I didn't have enough money to eat. I did have enough money to pay for those $100, those 3 meals for $100 because of people helping me. Because I said, hey, I believe in this cause. My friends helped me with a GoFundMe. Thank you to all those. You know who you are. I even got a printer. You know, I got this little microphone. I want to help you, V, because I believed in that. And now that I don't, I have to apologize to everyone and tell the truth of what really goes on here in Las Vegas and other conferences. People tie up to other people in the YouTube community to bash on others that are not so popular online. And they'll make up crap. They'll make up crap left and right.
Okay, I want to just let us disclaimer. Okay, there is a video that is on fractal weapons. I want you individuals to know that the brandishing of the gun, all that stuff that this kid speaks about me in an ill way and a negative way, anybody who supports that, lose my Facebook, okay? Lose my information. Act like I never even existed. And when you think of speaking my name, the real truth, shocker, think of shit in your mouth before you mention my name. And that's the last time I'm going to say that. Because there's suffering individuals out there that need a platform to speak on about real stuff, but they're afraid to, because they're afraid, oh, if I don't have a space story, or, oh, I don't have an underground story, or, oh, I didn't meet reptilians, or, oh, I wasn't in not waffle, whatever the hell you want to call yourselves, waffle, whatever. I mean, you know, it's just, it's a horse and pony show. The whole thing. You know, we could start a, you know, SSP, you know, superstar, you know, show, and, you know, people could come out and do their dances and, you know, look all fine and dandy and, you know, but have money insecurities, but have no trauma. And so show no sign of trauma, but sit there and say, I'm traumatized. No, the fuck you're not. Until you are stuck locked in a hospital with a fucking needle in your ass every time you come out because you don't want to fucking be like that anymore, you get aggressive and they tell you, oh, you're getting aggressive. You keep getting aggressive, you're going to get that needle in your ass. Deal with that and see what it's like. And then you wake up 4 days later and you still feel like you're high. Deal with that.
And these people don't even have abilities. They need to ask psychic mediums, you know, for help. And then they say they don't have money to pay you. And then they have all these nice new vehicles, but they don't have money to go to conferences, but then they end up there all the time. They'll work for free and they'll find ways of manipulating the person that's actually putting it out. Oh no,
That's
don't
why
let this
we're
person
gonna
in.
start. That's why we're gonna do eventually our own.
Yes.
That's why I'm gonna talk to some people. I want to get people out there with T-shirts with "True Shocker" written on it, because I want to brand this whole thing. I want to make it a non-profitable organization where the money goes to the children that are suffering in these homes, and to fight against or fight for rather than against. And that's one thing Chad did bring up. He said, don't say fight against, fight for the, you
So
know.
what I would like to see if we could do this is also teach the kids hands-on things. Because, you know,
Yeah.
once they turn 17, 18 years old, they can start their own business, doing things, you know, the manuables. What happened to,
Right.
you know, using their gifts and abilities to make things by hand, create, you know, music. And
I've noticed, you know, watching interviews with some of these people that have been in abusive, like foster care, or when they get out, they all of a sudden click into this amazing person eventually after years of, you know, suppressing it and then finally releasing it and having to get over it and having to relive it all and still afraid, you know, or called crazy, if anything. You know, some parents would call their kids crazy. They wouldn't believe it until the news broke. That, you know, of that one thing I said, I'm not going to say again. I'm just not. Um, I mean, you know, I follow these things for a reason. And the Jay Sears, by the way, if you think I'm faking that crap, go on my Facebook page. It's right there. I know you've seen it, Veronica. I know you've seen the ad. That's the guy. Yep. Yep. That's him. He used to groom us kids in the school when I was, you know, I was young then. I wasn't in foster care yet, but it was still trauma because even the rape as being a child caused a lot of issues, caused me to veer off a path that I could have possibly, maybe positive stuff could have happened, but it was too dramatizing and I kept it in. And then all that other stuff happened. And then when my father died, I became totally like just I disassociated, you know, and became
that's
something.
That's what they do, Rocco, because when I lost my father to suicide, I was 13 years old on the day before Valentine's Day,
Wow,
1985.
14.
So they do that. They do that on purpose. They take your heart. They take, your father, your mother, the ones that you really loved, and then fragment you and then use you for all these things that then they put these fake memories in your, and
Yeah.
talking yesterday in private how when I eat, I eat really, really fast, like really, really, really fast. And it's like
Me
because I
too.
have a
Me
fear
too.
that I'm not gonna have enough food, that I'm not gonna fill myself because I grew up
Right,
with
right.
no
Or
food.
I can eat a lot of food, right? And I'm
Yes,
still not full when
exactly.
I'm done, but then I'm regurgitating it, unfortunately. It's because, like I said, when you're forced to take medications, literally forced, it hurts. It hurts. It causes problems with your throat and everything. I mean,
I still have stomach problems. I have to take probiotic every day. And it
yeah,
has to be a
I'm gonna
specific
have to start.
probiotic, specific. And certain foods I can't digest properly. And it's
Oh
like
yeah, me too.
it sucks. And then
Yeah,
since
it
I was a
really
kid, it was
does.
like affecting my stomach. Like, why? And just the trauma does that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, with the GERD and all that, it comes from all of that trauma. And you know, I mean, I hate that I have to wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is smoke. It's like, but if I don't, I know that I'm gonna get sick. Like it sucks. It really does.
The thing with trauma also is with things like I was a kid and I always had to share like with my sisters, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
when people from say Mexico would come, we would have to give stuff away. And I didn't want to get
Yeah.
rid of, we had clothes that was secondhand, third hand clothes. My I have really long legs, so they would always say, "Hey, Pero, where's the flood?" They would make fun of me because I always had to wear other people's clothes. Oh, how beautiful. What's his name?
Her, this
Ah,
is Lily.
Lily. Hi,
Lily.
Lily. Ay, qué bonita. Hi, Lily. Yeah, the dogs, they know when we are agitated or sad. They like Lola, she'll come to me and beautiful.
Yep.
I'm glad we have the pets,
And,
they help us.
yeah.
So with things, it's like it's like wow, this is all mine. Like I'm to this day, I'm like, is this gonna be taken away from me? Is
I get what you're saying.
is this
Yeah, I
cup
definitely.
my only mermaid cup, which is more than 35 years? It was 1971, the year I was born. It was a gift. I bought it a long, long time ago. And I'm like, is this cup gonna be taken away from me? It's weird.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
when
yeah.
I
No,
hide
I
it.
get what
I
you're
hide
saying.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I've done that too.
right?
I've done that too.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like I always wanted silly things. Like I always wanted a comb like this. I gotta hide it when people come. Like, what if they take it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
be-
yeah,
because
yeah,
I've been taken away from so many times,
yeah,
stolen things, since I was a kid, and not being able to
yeah.
trust. Am I gonna have
For
enough
sure.
food tomorrow to eat at night? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what do I have in the refrigerator? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
run
yeah.
out
I
of
get
food.
that way sometime too.
Yeah,
And then I go in and I'm like, wait a minute, I got this.
yeah,
I'm like,
yes.
what the hell am I thinking?
That's
Like,
the aftermath of trauma as an adult. It doesn't matter how old we are. That shit is always there. And I'm still trying to heal it. A lot of people say, well, you just need more love. And I'm like, I am love. I love myself. I every night I tell myself I am safe. The number one thing to me is my safety. Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have a bed to sleep in? Do I have warm covers? Do I have my pillow? I'm attached
thank
to my
you.
pillows and my covers. I have to sleep with three heavy covers all the way up to here because I was afraid that my stepfather was going to come in and abuse me when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because he would abuse my mother. I would always have to be calling the cops. That's why I wanted to be a cop.
Calling the cop.
I gotta call the cop
Get
on
the
this guy.
call.
Jeez. And it wasn't until my mom ended up in a halfway house. My sisters, I fortunately a friend of high school, because I had a scholarship to go to college to college. And that summer I had a scholarship to go to NAU for music to learn how to play jazz on my violin. I fortunately was able to stay for a month with a friend of a friend of a friend at her house, an older lady. But my mom and my two sisters, they had to go to other schools and they had to go to these places where they have bugs and they have, you know what I'm saying? Like old mattresses, and they had to go on a bus and on another school. And then my mom ended up cutting our hair because she was running away from the guy. We had to end up in Baja California, like with a family that I never knew that was my mom's family, to hide us. And that is trauma too. And what does that do? It also leads other people to foster homes. Because what if they would
Oh
have
yeah.
taken us away from my mom? So all these
Right.
years
You would have
going
been
to
in foster
counseling,
care.
know,
Boom.
and it's like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring this up, but
No, it's fine. It's
it's
fine. This is
people
what needs to be spoken about.
the shit we deal with every day. And then they see me online.
Every day.
They're like, "Why aren't you
Every day.
asleep? Why aren't you asleep?" Because I can't sleep. I'm reading
There's
books.
no way.
I'm
Yeah.
organizing. I'm making my books. I'm doing crafts, arts and crafts. It's hard. It's hard. And then you can't find your keys sometimes. You're like, "Oh shit, wait, where did I leave my keys? Or where did I leave my shoes? I know I have a pair of shoes. Was that taken away from me? Wait, did I leave that in the laundromat?" Just shit like that we shouldn't have to deal with. And then of course I already hear the voices saying, "Oh, and you're doing a show on coaching calls, and oh, you're a professional." Well, yeah, I have my BHT and my recovery coach certificate. Yeah, but I still have to deal with this. I'm keeping it real. I'm not gonna come over here and say I'm perfect. Come to me. No, I'm keeping it real. This is why I feel that we're gonna be able to help others, is because this is real. This is what happened. And we distract ourselves, right? By working out, by riding my bike, by sewing. So back to you, Rocco.
Well, wow. Yeah, it gets murky. It definitely gets murky. And I don't think people realize when they're being roped in. Um, and when I realized it, when Jesse started talking to me, and it was about a good 15 days, towards the end of that, I like broke through it. And I started having all these childhood memories of the foster care system, just like literally pour through my head, right? And I started reliving, things. And I would ask my mom, and she said, "Yep, we used to talk about that." And I'm like, "Oh no, like what else am I gonna really find out? You know what I mean? The truth to that is gonna, cause me more, trauma, or, and that's the problem too, is I gotta face that trauma head on. And if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. So it's like, I'm 35 now, so I need to work on that. I need to, and it's a lifetime process. It's not, you're never gonna fully heal overnight. So when these people say, "Oh yeah, I could heal you and this and that overnight," it's no. Maybe they can help heal you and they have abilities to do it, some people, but the ones that I've dealt with, no. No, they put a lot of false implanted crap in my head is what they did.
They make it worse for us. They're not there to
Oh,
help.
and then you start believing more things that aren't even, like you're just like, what am I doing? What am I doing this to myself for? But the reason why I stay up and sleep the way I do is because I'm around the clock looking for people to talk to about this stuff. Also, Chris, I'll be on, what is it? No, something, noble or truth or knowledge or something. It's a Chris's show. Ryder was on there.
I'm gonna look it up, see if I can find it here. This one said,
The 8th, I'll be
this one
on
says
with
the Hammer
April.
podcast.
Yeah, that's the one I'll be on this week.
Okay.
Then April, I'll be on with that guy Chris
Okay.
that the Ryder Lee was on with.
Yeah, send me the link and then we'll put that one with the hammer and then that one that you're talking about on this show. But so I stay up too just because I just can't sleep and I hear things and I don't want them in my head. I'm like, I don't want them to take me, you know. I don't want to be reprogrammed. You know, the alphabet soup. You know, I'm getting out of the Manchurian candidate thing. I'm getting out of all that. I cut ties with the SSP program. I cut ties with the super soldier program. I cut ties with the abuse. I cut ties with everything. It's just that this,
Well, you cut ties with the abuse
yeah, with the
to
abuse.
a degree, in a sense of meaning we're going to help those that are still being abused, is
That's why
what
we're
we
talking.
focus. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And, cutting all ties to all these different, you know, whatever factions they want to call it, whatever they want to call it. It's just groupies. That's all. I don't want to be a cool kid.
The worst
Fuck
thing is
the
the
cool
Stockholm.
kids. Highly suspect.
Yeah,
Fuck the cool kids. Fuck the cool kids.
yeah.
I don't want to be a cool kid.
And
No.
the fake love programming, that's the Stockholm syndrome because a lot of people have told me that they're afraid to let go because, you know, they've been threatened or
Yes.
oh, well,
Yes.
she loves me. She loves me, really? She's gonna love you to death? I love you to death, man. Really? You're gonna sacrifice your inner child because you want to be in these groups and want to be loved? They don't love you. They actually hate you. And that's why they're
That's
together
right.
with their groupies to talk crap about you. But you don't see that because you have a veil of love, fake love. You know, I'm talking to
You're
the,
hilarious. I love it. You're funny.
I just
Oh man, it's enjoyable.
keeping
It
it real.
really is to find the real people to speak to.
Thank you, Rocco. You too. You want to say anything else? Want to talk about anything else? We got like 10 minutes.
Not really. There's not much more to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Other than stay strong. Join the movement. Start listening in for Truth Shocker episodes. Veronica is very good at putting up what shows are coming on and who's going to be on there. So, and I'm going to try to work on getting guests that have never been on radio, period, point blank. And the reason why is because I understand when someone first comes into this stuff, their mind is all over the place. So, you know, when you have people like me, Jesse, other individuals that want to see people not lied to, not roped in, and believing in a delusional thing rather than what really happened to them. This is a place for you. Don't get roped in. That's that. If you get roped in, you're screwed. You're
Yeah.
screwed.
It's gonna take you a long time to get out because you might be just blinded a little bit more there than you need to be. But thanks everyone for hanging out with Truth Shocker, Rocco Fowler here on Codebreaker Real Talk, and we're gonna end this for now. But please, if you have any questions, comments, you can send those to either Rocco or myself. Rocco, where can you be found? Facebook and what else?
Instagram.
TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. Rocco Fowler. And then I think it's Rocco Fowler 6 on Instagram. And then on Facebook, it's Rocco Fowler.
Thank you, Rocco. And just Google my name and you'll find me. Love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.